Hello, friends. My name is Host Eric, and I am the host of Talking with Famous People. Today, this stream makes you okay. Let's imagine a hypothetical. Right now, you're sitting in front of your computer, and you're saying, "Gosh, I'm not okay." Well, good news. This stream will change that reality such that you will become okay. That's the power of this live stream. It has the power to turn people who are not okay into people who are okay. Okay? But with that, you are first. You are first, you are freshest, you are a feline friend with fantastic furry fun. You're a fresh-faced teen. You're a fresh-faced teen learning to deep throat for the first time. Eric, did you have an incognito window open earlier? You did, didn't you? Was that your search term? No, it wasn't my search term. It may have been a result, but it wasn't my search term. Anywho. Hi, Anton Dean Nova. Or perhaps it's more conveniently pronounced Dianova. That would be easier to say than Dean Nova. Although, do you really need the second N then? Steve Van Manen. Steve Van Manen. Is that really your name? I don't think so. I don't think your name is Steve Van Manen. I think your name is Man Van Stevenson or something like that. Is really your name Steve Van Manen? It's a lot of vowels and V's. Steve Van Manen. Ban Jam Van Sandman. You are the Ban Jam Van Sandman? That's pretty good. That's a pretty good title you have for yourself there. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I were the Bam Jam Van Sandman. But I'm not. Perhaps I never will be. I'm never going to have as cool a name as Steve Van Manson. Van Manen. Steve Van Manen. I'm never going to have that cool of a name. My name, Eric Strauss, is always going to be not that cool. It's just so boring. Eric Strauss. Boring name. You know, they mentioned in an earlier stream, why didn't my parents name me Dragonclaw? Dragonclaw Strauss has a good ring to it. Well, thanks, Steve Van Manen. That's an oldie but goodie. I don't hear people reference that very often. I completed the writing part of a new song, I guess you'd call it, but it's basically I took a chorus from something that I liked from before, and I wrote the other parts around it today. And I'm going to play the recording I did of it earlier rather than try to execute it live because I'll probably fuck it up, This recording I did, I got like, okay, this is what it should be arranged like, and I think it's done to a click track, so it should be in time. Now to make it play over here, this is the tricky part. This is where things get tricky. Settings. I'm going to go to audio. I'm going to put the settings onto LGTV. Okay. I'm going to push apply. Now I'm going to mute my mic, and then when I push play, it should come through this for you to hear. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time was super slow. Nobody else yet to show. Place the slab below and leave them go, and they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears smashing through. Oh, hole slabs come into view. Divide the hole into two unless you choose to make a hole renew. The duty's yours to choose. But when the slope would seem to force your day, a fork appears to show another way. Though each side quick at least wants to check, but don't stay standing forever on deck. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time was super slow. Nobody else yet to show. Place the slab below and leave them go, and they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through. Oh, holy slabs come into view. Divide the whole into two, unless you choose to make the whole renew. The duty's yours to choose. But when the slope would seem to force your day, fork appears to show another way. Till each side quick at least wants to check, but don't stay standing forever on deck. The slope presents a fork, not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course headed over north, but now the slabs control all of that ground. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time was super slow. Nobody else yet to show. Place the slab below and leave them go, and they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through. Oh, holy slabs come into view.
No,
divide the whole into two. And I'm just playing the song I wrote this morning. So I wrote the three parts to it, basically. I didn't execute it very well, and I didn't. It's a very rough take of it, but I think that's the arrangement of it, basically. And when I end up producing it, that's how the song is going to go. So, with a name like that, you must always be into music. With a name like Skygear, the sheer peer of the queer deer, or a name like Eric Strauss. Eric Strauss, I'm not sure if that name really conveys that or not. I'm not sure Eric Strauss conveys much of anything as a name. It just says bland guy, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's obviously really rough, but I think once the production is done and it's heard in its optimal, as best as I can do, presentation, then I think it's gonna. I think people are gonna like it. I think it's gonna be catchy and it'll work well. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that it means ostrich before. So it's appropriate then that I'm the president of the Society for the Debunking of Flightless Birds, because as somebody whose name means ostrich, I know that ostriches can fly. They just don't do it when we're looking at them. They're like Sasquatches, except instead of hiding their existence, they just hide their capacity to fly. But many UFOs, if not most, if not all, are actually ostrich sky chariots and or emu sky chariots. Well known fact. Also, did you know that an alpaca is a bird? True. Alpacas are one of the largest of the low-flying birds. It appears to other people that they are walking, but in reality, they are flying very close to the ground, using their legs as wings. Little known facts about alpacas. Today I learned on Talking with Famous People that alpacas are actually birds, that ostriches and emus can fly, and that penguins are fish, not birds, but that they might be mammals if you want to dispute them being fish. But they're definitely not birds. Because flightless birds don't exist. I've proved it. Eric said it. I proved it. That settles it. I believe it. That settles it. God said it. I believe it. That settles it. I always thought that was such a fucking hilarious thing to say, right? No, just alpaca sky gear. No, they're different. It looks the same, but they're different. Okay, what appear to be hooves are actually little feathers. Little teeny feathers. They're packed so close together they form a hoof-like quality. And what appear to be live births are actually strangely shaped eggs that still need to hatch. It's true. Everything out of this mouth is true. Okay, llamas are a different story. Look, we could argue all day long about the llama controversy. That's obvious. Okay? I don't even want to talk about that one because it's been so muddled by disinformation. I don't even want to get into llamas. Hi, Tiny Man 66. Well, you've been missing out. You probably are still under the faulty impression that flightless birds exist. We've been busy disavowing that around here for a while. Also, I believe later in the day we have another meeting for Anal Wreckage Anonymous scheduled. So if you have problems sticking unusually large things up your own butt or asking others to do so, please don't hesitate to join us. We've all been there. We've all been the one who's gone to the hospital with the crocodile head in our butt and tried to tell that story. I sat down on a crocodile head and I was at the taxidermist and, it's some made up bullshit when really, we know, they're just into anal wreckage. I don't know what it is about Tiny Man 66 that reminds me of anal wreckage. There must be that 7-year-long campaign of anal wreckage that she conducted across most of northern France. It makes me feel at home and feel okay too. That's the thing. It's like I kind of have this constant ache because I'm not live streaming as much as I used to. And I feel like, what is it that I should be doing right now that would satisfy me more than this, And I remember, oh yeah, live stream. I like live streaming. I feel like I get to actually engage with people meaningfully. Whereas I don't in any other kind of upload thing, right? But I'm trying to do a good job and I mean, it's shown in the subscriber growth. Last month I had 143 subscriber gain, which is a lot better than I had been doing. So, it does help when you don't oversaturate people with stuff. Is this like a confessional? No, this is like a depressional. You come and you give the priest everything you know about the Great Depression. And then he tells you, don't worry, that won't happen again. And then you leave. I don't really have any boobs to show. Well, I mean, it depends how big of a time frame you look at, if you want to say, okay, well, the trend for the last few days or whatever is, yeah, but what I'm not doing is I'm not uploading videos that don't involve some effort, and I'm not just live streaming instead of uploading videos that involve some effort. It should probably therefore not hurt too much if I do live stream a little bit more. But the fact is, if you upload a shit ton of stuff every day and you start blowing up everybody's notifications, some people don't like that and unsubscribe from you. But as always, YouTube's a big part of my mental health. If I don't live stream enough, like I said, I feel this hole in my chest or self or whatever, like something's missing. And like the live stream last night was nice because Taylor came in and argued with me some, and it was a little frustrating because I often encounter this thing where people are really unaccustomed to having meaningful conversations about a topic in which they're positioning themselves to listen and learn. The thing is, somebody might say, well, Eric, why don't you listen and learn? And the answer is twofold. One, I'm not naturally that. So during the periods of my life when I've had to be a listener and learner, I've grown a great deal, but it's not my native way of being. And two, I've done a lot of listening and learning about this heretofore. So the process for me has involved a shit ton of listening and learning. Maybe not explicitly listening to somebody else explain to me how cognitive functions are, but certainly a lot of listening, learning, dissecting, etc., right? But third, it's just where I am at a point in my life. So it's like, you know, like most NTPs, I've been thinking about philosophical kinds of matters for for my entire life. But unlike most NTPs, I actually had a father had a PhD in philosophy, even though he was in the STJ. And I did competition debate, and I coached debate, and I taught conditional logic, and all these other things that facilitated my growth as an individual into being who I am today. At 50 years old, the correct position for me right now to be approaching things is, let me explain it to you and listen and try to understand as best you can. And if you think there's something that's confusing about it or not clear or not right or whatever, fine. But go into it not as an adversary. And this is one of the most challenging things in the world for any NTP or probably STP. I'm asking them to come in looking for basically affording it the status of a case they want to defend before they've encountered it in full. Is what natural to me. Is Summer's Eve natural? Well, it's more natural than the stink of my groin. If by natural you mean good, which I assume you do. Because, everything natural is good. Don't mind that poop in your food. It's all natural. Just eat it all up. Mm-mm. Feel the nature. Presenting a fait accompli? Look, I'm not. You got to remember something, Steve, and this is important because you're almost certainly an NTP yourself. Okay, I have spent since 2014 about on YouTube talking about cognitive functions and typology. It is now 2021. For a lot of that time, my core message was, we need to figure this out together. I'm presenting things, I need you to come challenge them. For a lot of that time, my core message was, I'm not sure, I haven't figured this out. Or, oops, I got this wrong. Oops, I got that wrong. For a lot of that time, that was my core message. It is very recently that I've come with this different core message, which is, I have to look past my own function bias. My own function bias is to always engage everybody who wants to challenge everything, because that's what it means to legitimize something, right? But I'm having to be a little bit more honest with myself here and say, your time's too valuable. You've explained this so much. You understand it so much better than everybody else. Your typing sessions alone, if you just watch all my typing sessions, it establishes very clearly that I'm doing something much more robust than anybody else is doing. In terms of gathering data that meaningfully establishes relational linkages between meow, 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 then meow, meow, right? That's what you're looking to establish, things that can make predictions off of. So I've done all of this. In the moment, yeah, you're right. I'm presenting it like you should listen to me without me having to justify all the time, right? Again, context is important. You've got to understand that this is not how I've been talking for the last 7 years. This is something that's increasingly become a reality as of the last few months. And it's because everything's kind of coming together for me. It's like I understand it all really clearly now. It's extremely frustrating when I have a conversation like the one I had the other night with rational typology. Okay, these people have named their channel Rational Typology, and I said at the end of one of my videos that they were wrong, you know. And I went to try to talk to them, and before I could explain to them anything about why they were wrong, I basically had to conduct a remedial thinking class to teach them how to distinguish between things in different sets. And it's like that's what I'm facing. Okay, I get Dunning-Kruger punched in the face every fucking day. So at this point, what I'm trying is a slightly different approach. Instead of continually saying, no, here's why I'm right, and I will respond to even the most aggressive NTP kind of critiques, justifying everything, pointing out when those aggressive critiques are actually dissembling techniques and or scuttling techniques that don't even meaningfully address the arguments, etc. I will cover all the flow. That is my nature, right? So what I'm saying here in these videos, where I'm saying it's time for people to trust me, is a general message to NTPs in general about life, that we're well served when we can find somebody whose expertise we can trust. So I had to learn how to be a good teacher by copying the mechanisms and methods of Mr. Samuelson, who had to teach me at first that I was a bad teacher because I didn't get that really, you know. And I had to put on the learner's hat for a while. I say, okay, this person is the expert in this. I'm not forsaking my own judgment in any capacity, but I have to try doing it his way. And that's a different sort of thing. It's not a theory-based thing, right? But it's a skill being a teacher. But I had to shift gears and try it that way. And the same thing that happened with Alcoholics Anonymous. When I finally did quit drinking, it was because I had to shift out of my native cognitive function bias, which was to be ultra demanding in terms of justifications. Additionally, another example, when I started doing a better job producing music, it's when I asked an INTJ, who I respected as an expert, how to EQ things and how to, any tips he had and stuff like that. That's when all of a sudden I had a big growth. Whoa. Because I actually said, all right, fuck it. I'm not going to be the expert myself for right now. I'm going to take advantage of someone else being the expert. What I'm saying is, from a practical TE perspective, when it comes to typology, I'm like that INTJ expert who I asked about music, which is to say, no matter how good you think you are at producing music, that guy's a real fucking pro. And he's it can't be done better in some capacity, right? So there's at some point you have to just be honest with yourself about, okay, this guy is the same type as me, basically, just as smart as I am, but he spent this many years doing it, plus he's a debate coach, plus he teaches conditional logic, plus he was a debater, plus he had a dad who had a philosophy degree, and he's extraordinarily, singularly well positioned then to be a genuine expert on something that I had heretofore perhaps thought was a matter of interpretation, but turns out isn't. Or at least that's what he's claiming. Let me see if I can learn it under that frame of reference, and then if I still feel at the end that it's not justified, dispute it, fine. But it's like it makes it difficult for me to communicate things to people when I'm having to fight every step of the way because they don't want me to be right. How do NTPs manifest SE? Well, ENTPs manifest it very unconsciously. So, I just started this live stream. Just that. And I didn't do what I should have done to prep for it, which is I should have gotten more cigarettes first and probably gotten more weed first before I even started streaming, you know? Well, I did DMT again last night, actually, or earlier this morning. And this was one of my takeaways, a little bit of a poetic expression, is that NI is the timelessness between breaths. I thought that was kind of a nice way of explaining it. Because, if you get to a certain sweet spot in DMT, and it can be hard to hit that sweet spot, but if you hit it, you get into this state of being, which is basically what Zen monks are trying to tell you to get into, where you're just purely in receive mode. For me, the most effective way to get there is to tell myself to listen rather than to look at all. And when I was in that state, and I was briefly in it only last night. I didn't have quite enough DMT, basically out of it. But when I was in that state, what I noted was that I was just in a receiving mode of listening, and my monkey mind was not filling my head with thoughts, right? So I'd hear a breath, and then I'd hear another breath, and it struck me that those breaths are experiential bookends, and that in between the breaths is is where the timelessness of introverted intuition lies. The idea that things have identity detached from experience. So, of course, we are both always creatures of intuition and creatures of biology at the same time. And so, and so, when you're in this optimally Zen sort of state of mind or being, be it because you've meditated the hell out of yourself or because you took DMT or whatever, um, when you're in that state of being, then you you're attentive to what is universally and timelessly so, at the expense of what is timefully so, which is maybe you have to poop or pee or something, you know. No, I know Boba Fett. The thing is, in my earlier stream where I was doing it on camera and stuff, the problem was there was a problem, and I eventually figured it out. The problem was I didn't have the main cylinder part of it charged enough. Once we recharged it, all of a sudden both Rachel and I had a totally different experience. And I agree, it's not something I really want to do on a stream because it would kind of ruin the experience. It's so meditative. It's very intense at first, and then and then it depending on how you if you hit the right spots, right? It's like it's very intense at first, and it fades into this kind of zen state that persists for some stretch of time, and then you kind of come down from there. I would say that a flow state or a state of flow is like that, except you're doing shit. Um, so I was in a state of flow this morning when I was writing that song. The other two parts of that song. Well, that's very silly, Winston Small, what those people say, because in reality, it depends a lot on the quality of the hits you get and how big your lungs are. So, for me, one full hit going slow requires me, if you hold down the button long enough, it'll start blinking. You can't hold it down forever, right? So, it requires me to hold it down for the full duration of it holding it down, let it blink, take my finger off, hold it down again for the full duration of it going, let it blink, take my finger off, hold my finger on it again for the whole duration of it going. That's one hit for me, okay? And if I get an incredibly large one, then it may only take two. Uh, in previous instances when I didn't have it fully charged right and or um, I wasn't hitting it right because I was hitting it too fast or whatever, something like that, then it may have taken 5 or 6, but I could in theory get to the same place, right? So there's a lot. It's something that you have to do very kind of precisely as a drug if you want to get the impacts you want to get, and and it's kind of a nice drug to have around because it's like it's something else in the mix, and it's not incapacitating after the first 20 minutes or something like that. It is kind of incapacitating after the first 20 minutes, for like first 20 minutes maybe. It was just happenstance, YouTube, what people wanted to see. It's like when I started YouTube, I didn't really ever expect to have anybody watch anything. It was more of a video notes on philosophy thing that I was doing for myself. And and then I made a video about MBTI, and it actually got a fair amount of views and got a fair amount of likes. It was the first successful video I had, and it got me into the idea that, oh, maybe I can make successful videos. And then I just proceeded to throw every fucking thing that thought came to my mind up onto the internet, basically. Now I'm more disciplined because I've spewed enough, I guess. But I'm still not especially disciplined. I have a lot to say. And being an NEDOM means I constantly feel this kind of urge/obligation to respond to everybody who disagrees with me. To say, no, I'm right because meh, 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 or whatever. But it's something I have to overcome. I can't. It's like ultimately it's to my own detriment because I can't meaningfully get any further in the conversation if I'm constantly having to go back and redefend my basic premises and stuff because everybody, so every time somebody comes around who's new, they go, well, where do you explain all this then? I've explained it a million fucking times. Why don't you look a little bit? And also, that's what I feel like. I feel like that sound effect right there. And I was thinking last night when I was taking a bath, God, how awful that this statistically unlikely thing has occurred. If I look at it objectively and say, okay, replace yourself with any random person and and listen to the claims being made, what's your reaction and response going to be to that? Well, my reaction and response is until and unless I hear and see something incredibly compelling that this guy is full of shit and full of himself, right? Way too full of himself and completely full of shit. That's the conclusion I'm going to draw about me if I don't know anything about what's being said, right? Except this is the claim he's making about being exclusively right and stuff like that. So it's a natural thing to conclude, but I can not help but be objective about what I'm saying as well and say, okay, well, but it actually does withstand scrutiny, surprisingly. Eventually, finally. It took a lot of years to get so strong, but it does. And I've yet to have anybody come and successfully refute what I'm saying. They just dissemble. They just challenge me to meet necessary but insufficient burdens. They try to say everything's just a matter of semantics. They disavow the purposefulness of language itself, even though they're using it too. It's like they'll do anything in the world to avoid saying I'm right. Well, I keep hearing this complaining about the organization thing from people. You haven't looked at the channel recently. It's not poorly organized right now. There's plenty of clear ways you can get to very, information heavy content, instruction heavy content. I've got the playlist of all the documents that I made with tables and graphs and stuff up as a playlist. I've got the which includes exciting tables and words. I've got my nutshell MBTI nutshells as a playlist on the front page, which gives you quick nutshells of these various ideas. I've got my typing sessions up on the front page as a playlist, which can show you exactly how it is that I type people. So no, it's not an organization problem, right? It's a dishonesty problem. And I understand why. It's like you don't want to have to go. You don't want to have to go. I mean, in the video I just uploaded before this live stream, is one place I do it. I did maybe a week or two ago in a video called "Why This Guy Is Right." I did it a couple weeks ago. I've done it many times. Okay, but the thing is, it is going to be the fact that I will continue to upload videos. People want to have a single video where I explain everything or something. It's not possible. It's ridiculous to think that it's conceivable to do that. I can nutshell shit as best as I can in summary things like the video I just uploaded for the stream or the equivalent one that I did about a week ago. And those will tend to fall into the charts and graphs category thing. So, I mean, yeah, it's very easy to find. It's right there at the front of the charts and graphs thing, probably, since I just uploaded it. And it's something that the answer to which is, I can't. Everybody wants me to have a single, a single video that they can respond to. Every time I make one, it gets no comment. Because the only people who can understand it are NTPs, if it's robust, and they can't find anything wrong with it, so they don't have anything to say. Because NTPs only comment when they can shit on something. Every robustly TI I've made gets almost no comment. That's how it is. So it's like, what's really going on here? It's not Eric's too poorly organized. It's not It's that NTPs and STPs can't get their egos out of their ass and just get on board with the actual correct interpretation of things. They don't like the fact that they can't be the ones to parse out what's wrong with this, I mean, I pegged you as one immediately, Steve Van Manen, based on your comments in the premiere. I don't know if you are one or not, but that's just my gut. I pegged you as I or E NTP immediately. It's like, you're like, I'm just messing with you, but you were messing with me about a weak spot, right? That genuinely could be messed with. You found this little weak spot and was like, I'm gonna mess with this. That's not, it's like you can tell what kind of thinkers people are to some extent by whether or not they critique you well. There's various places where you can pry at my map of cognitive functions, and there are places where it's basically unpryable. If people are trying to pry in unpryable places, they're just trying to shit on stuff, right? If they're prying in pryable places, they're smart and understand, but they're still probably just really looking hard for pryable places if they're not very much pryable places, So it's other ENTPs will understand my pain, I'm sure, in their own capacity. They probably have their own thing that they have trouble communicating with other people about because, I mean, it's like the thing that I'm incredibly good at, which is explaining stuff, is not a service people want. Nobody wants you to go over and explain things to them. It's like, who wants that guy? The guy who comes over and explains things to you all the time? No thanks. Well, thanks for the lecture there, buddy. Thanks for another lesson on how things are and why they're that way. I really wanted that right now. That's the guy I am. You know, it's like I'm the guy who explains things that people don't want to know the explanations for. Wait, I'm telling you about penguins. Where are you going? So it's obviously a frustration when it seems that the only people who can understand me won't afford me the courtesy of actually considering that I might be right. Eric, you remind me so much of my dad. I feel like I hit on his sensitive spots a lot when we talk, which makes it hard to communicate with each other. I, for one, really do appreciate explanations. Well, I don't really mind my sensitive spots being hit. They're not that sensitive. You know, it's like you can make me frustrated. You can. It's not impossible to push my buttons. If you want to come in here and play ground shifty ESFP non arguey guy, you can get me riled up. I'm susceptible to manipulation in that capacity to a certain extent, up to a point. You know, but I don't feel like it's a sensitive spot at all. I feel like this represents phase change for me. It's like I'm having to shift into a more beta quadra-ish kind of angle of analysis here or approach because alpha quadra wants everything to be egalitarian, everybody's arguments to be heard and answered, and there to be agreement on what's standing and what's not standing on everything by everyone. And it's like, wow. Richard Gere is the gerbil's most effective spokesman. How many of you would really know about gerbils if it weren't for Richard Gere? I probably wouldn't even know about gerbils. I wouldn't know there was a thing called a gerbil. I don't know anybody who has a gerbil. I guess they're different from hamsters, but they seem like hamsters to me. I used to have a hamster in Temple City named Hammy, and he just lived in the kitchen under the fridge mostly, and I like put shit out by the fridge for him. He lived there for like a year, and he was gone at some point. I don't know what happened to him. But I'm pretty confident that he wasn't a gerbil. Now, he might have been a Richard Gere fan. I didn't really have many conversations about his taste in movies, but I did confirm you're not a gerbil, are you? I don't want any goddamn gerbils around here. You know what? You know who knows where they've been? Someplace dirty and dark. Let me just put it that way. In other words, inside your butt. Let me just put it that way. How many gerbils put people up their butt? Almost none. So why would people put gerbils up their butt? It would seem like the golden rule would say, hey, these gerbils are nice enough not to put me up their butt. Maybe I should return the favor, you know? Am I able to play blues guitar? I mean, I don't know what you mean by blues guitar. You mean like, ah la 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 Lord. Down by the riverside, Lord, Lord, Lord. Like that kind of blues. My woman round away, yeah, cheat on me, live, oh Lord. By the riverside, Lord, 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 Lord. Pick a bed of hay, pick a bed of cotton, Lord, Lord, Lord. Like that kind of blues? No, not really. You mean like this kind of blues? I have the blues. I am so sad. Blues are fun, but blues are bad. I have them now. I had them then. I think I'll have them whenever I sin. I've got the blues. You can hear my country ways, my marginalized subspecies. Hey, I've got the blues. I've got the blues. Grew up by deltas, have women cheat, dogs that die and eat their feet. I play the guitar to make me good, because the badness isn't what it should be. Got the blues. I've got the blues. There. I've got the blues. Now you see, I can play blues guitar. That's some classic Delta blues right there. Was that old Iron Lemon, or was that me? I couldn't tell. You know, I've long been, I guess expert wouldn't be too strong of a word, an expert in both Negro spirituals and Native American song forms. So, to combine the two, if you want to get a Native American Negro spiritual, it's kind of like this. Oh yeah 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 la 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 la. Ay yeah 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 yeah. Lord 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 Lord. That's a combination Negro spiritual and Native American song. It combines both my Cherokee half and my African American half to represent a real expression of my racial identity for all of you to enjoy. I know I enjoyed it. I'm assuming you did as well. Because it's rich cultural heritage. That's why. We all love things with rich cultural heritage. Stitch Method Guitar is an amazing blues teacher. Well, I don't really consider myself a guitar player, you know. I'm a singer-songwriter. I play rhythm guitar. I don't really play guitar, you know. I think playing guitar is kind of dumb, to be honest. Like, you know, why would you want to play guitar? I'd rather play chords. I'd rather sing songs. It makes me less bored than 400 dongs. And 400 dongs I'll find very dull, because that's not the kind of genital I like at all. There. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that a winning number? Wasn't that the Powerball winning number of the day? It was. Thanks for noticing. Do you know why? 'Cause I deserve $500 million. It's my turn to win the lottery. I've played it week in, week out, see, or at least intermittently. And now it's my turn to win the lottery this time. Okay, so if you declare things in song form, they're more likely to come true, I've discovered. Especially if you do one of these afterwards. Just give it a little extra magic kick. Everything likes a little extra kick of magic in it. If you want to impress the hell out of your date, what you need to do is have a magic trick ready for when you meet her for the first time. Girls love magic tricks. I mean, chicks cannot get enough magic tricks. If there's anything that we can all agree on, it's that. Why do you think magicians are constantly betting all the chicks? Because chicks love magic tricks. Whether it's a card trick, whether it's, hey, I pulled a quarter out of your ear, it doesn't matter. It's like, you trick a girl with magic, it's just a instant panty dropper. She's like, she doesn't even know what to do with herself. Oh my God, did you just do a magic trick? And then everybody explodes. You're living on a time frame I will never know. Alienation and humanity's soul. Imagine you a future after the collapse, returning to the urgency of isolated past. You're picturing community free of metaphysics while you're hunting buffalo, and you're picking red delicious in the knowledge of the seasons, wisdoms of old. Fires blazing in the night to keep away the cold. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. Imagining a history that never could have been. You lecture at the college, advancement is a sin, lamenting disconnection in every corporate act, asserting all your feelings and ignoring all the facts. Hostility is kept at bay by what you think is in the way of life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. You find modernity just so banal. Wish you had been born any time but now, and your experience won't run afoul of exceptions you might allow. You visualize nobility sipping on some port, tribes of peaceful savages and beautiful comport, but few of history's people ever thusly did cavort, 'cause life was solitary, nasty, brutish, poor, and short. Hostility is kept at bay. Hostility is kept at bay. What you think is in the way. What you think is in the way. Life as children of the land, with an agave weatherman. With an agave weatherman. That was kind of fun. Kinda. If that's all you're going for, fine. Yeah, you succeeded. It was kind of fun. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Can someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles, cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night. Mostly voices say to give in. They'll try to sap your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed be here or just be soon forgotten. Noise is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles, and today we run out of time. Struggles past, trouble still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I have something to say. Something to say. That was pretty good. My voice is all shot to fuck, but you know, it was a pretty good rendition of it, given the fact that I can't sing at the moment. Sammy has a story that need be told, and this is a song for an open road. Such a thing must always do its job. She married up Jib and turned 19, 4 years in and 3 kids weaned. Weary now and questioning the path. Agency outpaced its discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just oppression, making sure those underneath them always run. Doug at 20 thought bourbon fun, and likewise Doug at 21, and so forth, well up into middle age. Once that seemed to set him free, became his whole identity. Now Doug's about another drunken rage. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just oppression. Offer you incentives, but they haven't got a thing that's fun. Everybody's panicked out, the kids. Lock 'em up with extra dexedrine. Mathematics produce success, or impose more unjust duress. Agency outpaces discretion, locking in our courses. Way too young. The urgency conferred is really just oppression, making sure those underneath them always run. Without consent, it's really just oppression, by parasites surviving on their wages earned by lying, while they feed their fear of dying. Yeah, they'll feed upon the futures of the young. Alright, my fingers are tired. My voice is shot. I'm done playing guitar. I'm sure you're done listening to it, so we're on the same page there. You like that sort of trashy rhyme scheme? Who don't like a good trashy rhyme scheme? Okay, so how long have I been streaming? I've only been streaming for 1 hour, but which oldie would you like to hear, Steve? If you have a specific request, I'd be happy to play it. I'm always gratified when anybody actually wants to hear something. You know, it's like it's really hard to get people to. I can't play that. I cannot play that song. There's no way. I have no idea how to play it. I've never tried to play it. All right, I'll do Matter of Mood for you. I'll try the new one after the Matter of Mood. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you, and you'll want to know the way to get back out to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-dee-da, da-dee-da-dee-doo, bum-ba-dee-da-doo-doo-doo. Bum-ba-dee-da, da-dee-da-dee-doo, ba-da-dee-da-doo-doo-doo. That was Matter of Mood. Which is the one just with Eric ranting and he keeps saying that one word name over and over again with Eric madly banging on the electric drums? Is it 4 Cars? It might be 4 Cars. You can't see me. You can't see me driving my car. I don't remember exactly how it goes. All right, I'll try to play this new one. It was 100,000 million years ago. Time was super slow. Nobody else yet to show. Place the slabs below and leave them go, and they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through. Oh, holy slabs come into view. Divide the whole into two, unless you choose to make the whole anew. The duty's yours to choose. But when the slope would seem to force your day, a fork appears to show another way. To each side quick at least once to check, but don't stay standing forever on deck. 100,000,000 years ago, time was super slow. Nobody else yet to show. Place the slabs below and leave them go, and they will start to grow. More years ensue and tears gnashing through. Oh, holy slabs come into view. Divide the whole into two, unless you choose to make the whole anew. The duty's yours to choose. But when the slope would seem to force your day, a fork appears to show another way. To each side quick once to check, but don't stay standing forever on deck, 'cause the slope presents. Right. It's not easy, lapping short, too far along to turn around. I can't remember how this part goes. I have to listen to it again. That's why the songwriting process involves me listening to it a bunch of times. That's why I played it for you on the thing rather than here. I knew I wasn't going to remember how to go into the chorus. The way to go into the chorus is supposed to sound like, is like how, I mean, the bridge or whatever you call that thing. That's not the chorus, that's the bridge. The way to go into the bridge is supposed to sound like this. New, the duties yours to choose. And the slope would seem to force your day. Then after this one, I think fork appears to show another way. Till each side quick at least wants to check, but don't stay standing forever on deck. The slope presents a fork, not easy stopping short, too far along to turn around. Perhaps the better course headed over north, but now the slabs control all of that ground. So that's the segue or the bridge or whatever. That's how it's supposed to sound. Almost. There's one little mistake in it, but basically that's how it's supposed to sound. I couldn't play it on the fly. Satchel. Okay, I'll play Satchel, and then I'm going to call it a stream, I think. I am out of cigarettes after all. Every life lived reaches a time when the road splits in two. There are times, hard times, times of despair, times when it's hard to feel good. That's when I look for that sack full of solvency and my satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods. Every life lived reaches a time when the road disappears. When I'm there, will there be anybody else around? Or will I travel all alone? That's when I'll look for my sack full of solvency and that satchel filled up with home. And that satchel of nothing but bones. Satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods, satchel of helpful goods. El Nino, my ass. You call those storms? Where is the rain? Those drizzles don't count, I drizzle more when I pee in the sink. Which is just the right height to catch all of the undesired splatter. And when I'm done, I'll go up there and climb a ladder. Yeah, I will go up there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, won't you drop it from the bottom? Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. In here, second verse. It needs more, and just one more through, and then it'll be like little song that I can sing to you. That's not too short and abrupt and sudden in its ending. Instead, it will be complete in the song message it's sending. So I will go up there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, won't you drop it from the bottom? Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. If you're still here, thank you. You are a beloved friend, a true friend, a gentleman, a warrior, a lover, a saint, a Saint Bernard dog, and a Labrador dog at the same time, plus an alien of superior intelligence. You're all of those things and more. Why? Because you sat here and listened to me play the guitar, which is the greatest gift a person can really give me. I will take you up on it, Jonathan. For sure. I'm just, I'm not really. I'm sort of in this. I'm in sleepy week right now, but after like another day or two of it, I go, well, let me see who can I hit up for more Adderall, and then I have a day or two on, and so it's like I'm not really fully functional right now. Wait till the beginning of the month, and I'll meow. All right, well, you go to bed, Steve. You go to bed, and then before that and after that, you go to bread. Okay? Go to bread. Be like bologna and go to bread. I want you to think of yourself as going to bread every night, and you'll sleep better, because everybody sleeps better with bread. A Bernador? Yeah, it's half St. Bernard, half Labrador, half Poodle, half Chihuahua, and half Corgi. It's a Bernardador, Corga, Chihuahua Beagle. Your yeasty consumable of preference is beer. Have you tried a woman's yeast infection? Talk about a refreshing beverage. You wouldn't think so, but it's like naturally occurring beer without all the alcohol. It was nature's first non-alcoholic beer. Slaking one's thirst from a woman's yeast infection. That's what they call caveman beer. Hey everybody, do you want to come? I'm having vaginal blood, sploosh splash party. Hey everybody, do you want to come to my vaginal blood, sploosh splash party? Bring out the vag, bring out the blood, bring out the pool and the pool towels. It's vaginal blood, sploosh splash party. It has its own song now. So now you gotta go. Now you gotta come and attend the vaginal blood sploosh splash party. Okay, regardless of your attendance, don't feel you need RSVP to the Vaginal Blood Sploosh Splash Party. You can just show up if you want. We will have a piñata. It will be filled with blood instead of candy. You probably don't want to be the one to break it open. Yes, there'll be a slip and slide, of course. The whole environment will be a slip and slide. The whole party is one giant slip and slide. That's why it's called a Vaginal Blood Sploosh Splash Party, to emphasize the fun. It's a lot of fun there. It's like a combination of a big ball pit plus a bouncy castle, but with vaginal blood and slip and slides. Sploosh splash parties don't always come before evolution. Sometimes it comes before something new. Maybe I could return to my more recent concern, namely the debunking of flightless birds. Would you prefer that? Or my Society for the Identification of Identified Flying Objects. So far, Rachel and I have identified every flying object we've seen. We've been looking at them up in the sky, and we've been able to identify every one of them. I've seen, like, for example, last night we saw a planet, we saw stars, we saw the moon, helicopters, planes, all kinds of things. Would you like me to go to more contemporary things like that? Because I am kind of, it's kind of important to me that I find eventually an object I can't identify. It would be nice, okay? Could be a Sasquatch, could be a Loch Ness Monster, could be alien, something paranormal. I want paranormality right now. I want ghosts hitting me in both cheeks like this with their ghostly fists. I want it now. Maybe you do need a change of attitude, Karen. It's all in your mindset, okay? If you have the right mindset, you'll love that time of the month. It'll be like, hooray! I'm cramping and bleeding again. That's my favorite. It's always an excuse to do edibles. Remember that, Karen. The best cure for menstrual cramps and stuff, from what I understand from ladies who know about this, this is not just me mansplaining, okay? I got this information from a real lady in Santa Cruz when I was in college. The best thing for menstrual cramps is edible weed. That's what I've heard from the lady that I heard it from. I'm not mansplaining. But I should tell you a few things about your menstrual cycle while we're here. I've got your attention and I'm explaining things to you. So, first of all, when your menstrual cycle is about to begin, you may feel some shift in moods. You need to stop that. Okay? That's called being a bitch. That would qualify as mansplaining, I think. Women love it when you tell them what's wrong with them in their womanly way. Here you go, Peter. Sorry, you've been very patient. Thank you. I appreciate your patience, buddy. Oh, Peter. You're such a silly peacock friend. Whatever shall we do with you? Yeah. Alright, so ladies, first of all, number one rule. I don't want any of this make-believe cramps, hormones, or any of this other nonsense that you sometimes try to claim why you can't do something, okay? Just no. Just man up. I don't want to hear about this I'm 9 months pregnant shit either, alright? That's no excuse to not do your job at the construction site. You get out there with this shovel and you dig that fucking dirt right now. Pregnant lady. If you didn't want to do construction while pregnant, maybe you shouldn't have gotten pregnant. If you didn't want to have to move this wheelbarrow full of gravel while 9 months pregnant, you should have thought about that before you took that dick in your vagina. Like the SLUT you are. But he's my husband. I don't care. Walk it off, woman. Rub some dirt on it. Yeah, really. Equal pay. Yeah, okay, when you stop getting filled up with babies randomly, maybe then we can talk about it. Okay? When you stop having your hormones and your feelings, then maybe we can talk about it. You're lucky you have the vote. I wouldn't let you vote for the All-Star game in Major League Baseball if I had my say on the matter. I mean, why do you think these horrible players make the All-Star team every year? It all goes back to Susan B. Anthony and when women got the vote. That was the beginning of the end of all civilization. They don't... Those things, they can't have a say in making decisions. That's insane. Well, whatever will happen if we do that? I mean, those things with boobs, they can't be involved in decision making. Did you not see the boobs? They're right there on their chest. Obviously, that removes them in the capacity to think. I mean, would you be able to think if you were carrying around a pair of titties all day? No. Neither can they. This is old man misogynist at his finest. I'm actually not very misogynistic at all, to be honest. I'm what you'd call a feminist, probably. In the sense that I like things that are extremely feminine. I like rainbows and sparkles. I like twirling. I like baton twirling a lot. That's one of my favorite sports. I'm really into hula hoop. I like playing mommy to my dolls and pretending that I'm getting them ready for school and things like that. Tomorrow is voting day. I'm a woman. I don't vote. That would be foolhardy of me. Why don't I leave it in the hands of those with peni? Angela Merkel won't be Chancellor of Germany anymore? Aw. But I love Angela Merkel. She's the only world leader I can think of whose name rhymes with Urkel. Did I do that? Did I excuse all of Greece's debt? Did I do that? Did I coddle the rest of the European Union? Hi, Dad. Thank you. Assurance. So did your phone update?
Sorry?
Did your phone update yet?
I haven't checked if it updated. I don't know how to do that.
Okay, well, I'll be in it and I'll check it. I'm just wrapping this thing up out here.
Your method works. So I got a reply back from the email from Richard. So he said, yeah, really, that's works.
Okay.
So I'm not sure we just work around the issue or get real excited. But it would be nice to know how to update or relate email addresses. I think we can do it through Earthly.
No, you wouldn't do it through Urban.
Sorry?
No, we do it through Google. Look, those are the contacts on your phone. Those are Android. That's an Android.
I understand that. Well, sort of. But I also understand that there is an email file, also an Earthlink.
Yeah, but we want to remove that as much as possible from the equation. The thing is, what's happening.
What you're saying is that the Earthlink list is separate. Even if we did remove it on Earthlink, it wouldn't necessarily
Right.
affect anything on Google.
Right, because you're using Gmail, so it's accessing Google's.
I understand. When we set this up, it was the idea that it was a double filter. Earthlink would filter it, and then the Google would refilter the emails coming in.
It does, but that has nothing to do with your contacts.
Yeah, I know that, but we set it up that way because of the double filter.
Well, we set it up that way because of the way of bypassing Earthlink, basically. It does have that additional fact that it goes through the Earthlink spam filter
Why
first.
do I need Earthlink?
Because you still receive emails to that email address. You don't have Earthlink, you just have an Earthlink email address.
I do have Earthlink. I pay a fee every month.
Okay, well you shouldn't be paying any fee to Earthlink. As that's
I pay a fee to Earthlink for the security update.
Okay, well that's fine. But the point is, your email address for Earthlink, the reason it still exists is because it's been we've grandfathered it into the email.
Yes, we did. I keep saying I understand, which I really don't. But I agree with your fact.
Right. So the thing is, the problem you're encountering, and hopefully it will fix itself with the sync. If it doesn't, I can come in and try to get you.
Well, what I said also, I can work around it.
Yeah.
It just would be nice to know how one gets into on Google or Android, gets into and being able to correct or eliminate bad old email addresses. People change their email addresses.
Right. Well, you did it on the phone, so we just have to see if it syncs to the computer. You corrected it on the phone.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I didn't correct anything. We had just established a second. Now, apparently my phone does not recognize when I use the name that the same identical email address is listed for two individuals.
Okay, so
And if I put Ron in, I get the same email address. If I put Richard in, I get this email address.
so that's what we changed last
when
night.
I send to Richard by name, it goes to him and not to Ron.
Right, sure, because the contacts are just giving you options, okay? So that's all they're doing is giving you options. So when you start typing something, it's trying to guess who you might want to contact, okay? Now, if in fact you had the same email for Ron and Richard, that's what we fixed last night on your phone. You edited one of those and got rid of that.
No. I will show you, I still have the contact for Ron as the same as Richard, and it pops up.
Okay, so now is that in your contacts or when you access when you're trying to write an email?
When I compose.
So if you look at your actual contacts, it's been changed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you changed it on your phone, but it hasn't synced with the internet.
I'll go check. I have not checked that this morning.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I still don't know how to go into Google email and change bad email addresses. I'm still getting back feedback from this Richard ISP. When he changed it, it screwed the entire system up.
Okay, I will go help you with that, okay?
Well, let's just see if we, I don't know.
I mean, the thing is,
I don't know.
the way to change it on Google should be, go ahead and change it on your phone like I think we did last night, and then it should sync with Google. If it's not doing that, then I need to check the settings and see why it's not doing that.
Okay.
Okay? What an incredibly frustrating conversation. My dad he's got sort of messy contacts, right? Like an old email address is no longer applies, or he's got the same email address for two different people and written down in his contacts. He wrote it in the wrong place sometime. And he's freaking out because when he begins to type somebody's name, it gives him options that he doesn't want. But it's like, Dad, just, he had been typing in before like Richard's email address and then it would pop in. But he changed something or whatever and it wasn't coming up. So then I just said, well, just type in his name then, Richard. So I started typing his name and then it pops up, but it came up with several different options. And he's like, well, I don't want this one and this one. I'm like, wait, you choose the one you do want. But will it send it to these other people? No, he's not going to send it to the other people. It's like, it's frustrating because he's fretful about things that are just completely normal things. Like your contacts get kind of messy and sometimes you got to clean them up. Now, why exactly why it hasn't changed on his email and when I changed it on his phone, I don't know. But, it's like one of those things that happens and he's like, the system's all messed up. No, the system's not all messed up, Dad. It's giving you different... It's giving you a prompt you don't expect when you start typing something in. In other words, it's giving you options you haven't seen before, but it doesn't mean there's a problem. Just pick the right option, I don't know why it's doing that. It doesn't matter. It's like you're freaking out over the little nothing, and he gets confused about well, maybe we need to change this on Earthlink. he's got this old Earthlink email that I've got auto forward everything to his Gmail address, and he's like, now the reason we did that was so we'd have a double spam filter, right? I'm like, well, that is sort of an effect of it, but that's not why we did it this way. It's just you still want to get emails that are sent to that old email address, even though it's not your email address you give to people now. You have old shit that gets sent to that email address, and you want to make sure you still get that email. So I got auto forwarding, so that auto forwarding and then deleting it from the Earthlink server. So even if somebody hacks into the Earthlink server in his email, there's nothing there to see. Um, so, but then it's like trying to explain all this shit to him is just impossible because he's just not tech savvy enough. Even though he's a smart guy and he's pretty capable of figuring shit out and all that kind of stuff, he's just a little too old for this. All this for an SI tool user for all this late life change, you know. Well, he relies on me to help him with these things though. So anyway, I'm gonna split because I gotta go get cigarettes and I probably need to help my dad as well. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. If you do forget, you can eat twice as much cheese next time, and it'll be fine.